Just nuts.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Chattering with Nicholas Vince. And this evening, depending on where you are in the world, of course, I'm going to be chattering with Stuart Bedford, Stu Jopia, Giovanni, Gentile from Good Tidings. I will introduce, well, actually, I'm going to get them to introduce themselves in a few moments. Just before I do, I just wanted to thank everybody who subscribed to the YouTube channel. We're now at 499. I just need one more to hit my... Just one more person.
It can be done.
It can be done. That's going to be my Christmas present if I get 500 subscribers. It's interesting though, when you get to this magic, I said, it's just a nice round number, but I got an email during the week saying, we think we should partner with you. We're quite interested in partnering with your YouTube channel. And I'm thinking, yeah, you would have charged me for this service, I'm sure. However,
of course.
But hey, people are noticing me. That's all. Noticing the channel. Just before, I just wanted to. The other thing, of course, is to thank everybody subscribing and downloading the podcast. Those are still doing very, very well. Thank you very much indeed for that. This podcast will be up in the next couple of days. The other thing was to say the Save Dread Central website campaign. I'll put a link. I'll make sure there's a link on the YouTube channel. Great website, and like so many of these great news websites within the horror community, they've always relied on advertising. But of course, everyone has advert blockers and read on Apple devices, etc. So advertising revenues are going down for people who run websites. So it's a great website, Dread Central. So if you have got some money around about Christmas, a little bit of spare cash, don't buy the orange to go in the Christmas stocking. Just give a little bit of money to Dread Central to help keep that wonderful site going. Right. Okay. Those are my shout-outs. Gentlemen, would you like to introduce yourselves? And we'll start with Giovanni, happens to be to my left. So we'll start with Giovanni and explain who you are and what you did on the film.
I'm Giovanni Gentile. I'm actually a producer. I was also the executive. So I kind of fronted all the money and did all the business side of things and dealt with sales and distribution. I did all the boring stuff that people don't usually like to talk about all that much. I also was one of the Santas, which was the fun part. So on set, I was busy acting, as well as keeping everything behind the scenes running smoothly, making sure that we didn't have the wardrobe lady disappear and the effects were in place and all. I mean, we had really good stuff, so they didn't really need holding hands. They knew what they were doing. Even some of them, it was their first time, but they really did pull out all the strings. So. Yeah, at some point I wanna mention them by name, make sure that we are still thinking of them and we haven't forgotten.
Well, we can definitely do that. Well, yeah. I want to come back to you about the production side. Funnily enough, I've got a producer from France coming on the first show of 2017, and I think it's very interesting. So far, I haven't had many producers on the show, so yeah, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about the from the producer's side, what's involved. That's brilliant. Okay, we'll move on to Stu.
Hi. Sorry. Hi, I'm Stu Jopia, and I'm a producer, writer, and I play one of the Santas also.
Okay, right. Okay, that's fine. And Stuart.
I'm Stuart Bedford, and I'm another one of the writers. I'd say we all had a hand in writing it. I'm also the director, and I produced as well and edited. So a lot of work.
Yeah, that is a lot of work. So I'm not going to throw this open, really. The obvious question is, how did this all get started, and how was it working with 3 writers on the one script?
Well, it started with, we worked on a few films for Stu's brother, and that was kind of our into the industry, really. And then we ended up writing a script for him. Stu's brother's a filmmaker. You might hear The Cute Little Buggers, which is due out soon. That was in Starburst this month. And sort of while we were on that project, we were kind of like, while we were on the project that we wrote, we were sort of like, why aren't we doing this for ourselves? you know, why are we doing this for someone else? You know, so we kind of sort of got our own project together, which was called Dark Continents, which was kind of a H.P. Lovecraft themed anthology. And we developed that for about 1.5 years, and it went a bit nuts. You know, we were writing space portals into it and all this kind of crazy shit. And then we ended up budgeting it at about 1.5 million. Walked up to like, yeah, we're gonna get this. It's gonna be awesome, this movie. And everyone was like, who are you? So it was through frustration, really, that we kind of went, oh, let's just make a film for like 10 grand or something. And then Good Tidings was born out of that sort of conflict. So that was 1.5 years developing something that just went nowhere. And we were like, we need to make something. It was so frustrating.
Sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
When you organized Dark Continents, that's when they came up to me and they basically said, "Oh, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, I can't fund 1.5 million. I can't find 1 million, or I can't fund 500,000. So, you know, I mean, I'm interested in helping you and seeing where this goes, but I'm not going to be able to put any money towards it. If you want to do a film for a lot less, 10, 20, then yeah, okay." So basically, we went through Dark Continents, and it might sound like we wasted our time, but I don't think we did. I think we learned a lot trying to do Dark Continents that we then used to actually do Good Tidings. Because it was kind of like throwing somebody in the deep end and watching them drown slowly. Eventually, you know, when you go in the shallow end, you're like, I can swim.
Oh.
So that's kind of how
it's good.
But that metaphor might not work perfectly, but you get the point.
Yeah, as long as they survive.
We survived.
You learn a lot from failing. That's the thing. You know, you kind of spend so much time, and you kind of, you know, you literally fail at something, and you go, okay, that's how maybe that we don't do it. Maybe we kind of go, you know, tip it the other way and try and maybe do it the way we didn't do it before, and that kind of obviously led us to do this kind of micro budget feature. And yeah, that's how that was born, really, wasn't it? We just sort of went, all right, let's see what we can put together, and see what we can get with our crew together, and see what can come out. And
it was kind of like throwing the toys out of the pram in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like, fuck this, then we'll just make a film for 10 grand. Fuck you.
Because to an extent, the system wants you to spend a lot of money, and it costs a lot of money to do audio and post and pre-production. Actors aren't cheap, and name recognition is important, but you're not gonna get any name recognition for 10,000. You're not gonna get anybody. So it kind of wants you to have money, and if you don't, you can't do it. So it was kind of like our way of saying it: we don't have money, but we are going to do it. And yeah, it is like throwing toys out the pram, going, "No, I'm not going to play with this. It's great."
The interesting, and just to clarify, what was the eventual budget for the movie?
To shoot it, I think we spent about less than £9,000, which is dollars, 12, 13 maybe.
Right.
The currency is all over the place. But I think to finish it entirely, and that's when we didn't. To finish entirely, I think is going to be about £30,000 pounds. But that's because like studios and getting the deliverables done, you can't not spend money on it. No studio is going to give you studio time for free.
Right.
You can get good staff. You can get them in on a percentage. You can get people working out of love and giving their time like we did. But, you know, you can't go to a studio and go, "Oh, you love this film." You know, it won't work. You got to dish out the cash.
And when you say studio film, this is to do sound?
Yes. Post-production sound, getting everything shipped to America, doing the quality controls. That all costs money. But even the grade, that costed money, but we kept that internal. We got somebody who worked on the film to do it, who did it pretty well.
It was actually a cinematographer.
Yeah.
He's just a man of many skills.
Shane Dale made our DOP. He was unbelievably useful, even in selling the film. He was there all the time.
He's a legend.
We love you, Shane.
We tried to just like see what we could, you know, there's the three of us, and that's kind of all what we had to begin with. So it was see what can we all do? What can we all put a hand in to do? You know, if there was something, you know, if we could try and do this bit over here or this bit over there, we'd try and do it ourselves. But, you know, you get to that point of where it's just impossible. You know, we couldn't sit there and go, okay, we know how to do all this post-production. it blew our minds. That's why it was, you know, you've got it outside, you've got to give it to someone else, and you know, and that's why all the post-production side costs, you know, can be considerable than what you actually go and shoot the movie for. And that's where we ran into our sort of first kind of problems with it, going, oh my God, we've got to find more money to try and finish the movie and to get it sold and to get it out there. There's the hidden things that I don't know if, you know, a lot of filmmakers who are making their first movie know about. They go, okay, we'll shoot it and we've got it and it's done, but then what? You know, you want to get it out there to everyone, for people to see. And
classic, oh, sorry, dude.
Go.
No, it's the classic, innit? It's a speculate to accumulate thing. To make money, to get it out there to its audience, we've actually got to spend more.
Yeah.
You know,
because we had it, we could have uploaded it, and we could have to Vimeo or to YouTube, and that would have been it. But you wanted to get it out on Xbox Network, you wanted to get it out on Hulu and all those places that I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute. But to do that, you needed to make sure it's a certain quality, and it passes the quality control of all these places like iTunes, who are quite strict. If you drop frames here, or if you've got a drop frame there, which costs us hundreds to fix, to them it's like, no, sorry, go back, fix it, bring it back when it's done.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So I mean, we'll definitely come back to this. So let's rewind the story a little. So you're working together, you're doing stuff, you've got an art, you've now realized that dark continence is just not going to fly in terms of financing, etc. So whose idea was it to come up with the guy, you know, a holiday movie? And is that the way that you got round your problem of actors or not being able to have names? You went for what is a really good marketing ploy of having a holiday movie.
Yeah.
Go on, Stu.
I mean, that's kind of my brainchild. I absolutely, I love Christmas movies, you know, Christmas horror movies, Christmas movies in general. And, you know, for me, the appeal of coming back to them every year is something special for me. So I was like, right, okay, let's try and make a film that we could do that could last almost forever. If you you do it right and people like it and they enjoy it, this is something that people are going to come back to all the time. So I then instantly went and blanked these two. Could we do a holiday movie, a Christmas movie, you know? And we sort of sat down and came up with this sort of idea of wanting Santa. You know, we wanted to have Santa Claus in there, wanted to be something with Santa in it. And, you know, we've seen awesome movies with Santa as being the killer. And obviously, as Gio said before, you know, we can't really go and get, you know, Tom Cruise to come and play like a Santa or something, or, you know, anyone of name. So, you know, we were like, okay, let's see if we can make a character. So we try and make 3 characters that people could like enjoy watching, you know, maybe some twisted characters. And that's where sort of this idea was born, of the 3 Santas.
I know what you're saying. Good Tidings wasn't it wasn't a marketing ploy. It wasn't anything like that. It was purely because we love Christmas. We want to see Christmas on, and we want to do Christmas films.
Absolutely.
But now that it was actually came later that we realized, if done well, this is really good market. This film is easily marketable to a community, to people who at Christmas want to, you know, have free time, want to enjoy themselves, just spending money, want to put something on TV. And I mean, it is a very good idea to make a Christmas film, especially a good one. So I mean, I wasn't thinking about it at first, but now that it's come to light, it absolutely makes sense.
I mean, in all seriousness, it wasn't a blag from Stu. You know, I mean, we've been working together for quite a while, really, writing stuff together since, you know, we were nobody. We're still nobody, really, but, you know, when we had no exposure whatsoever. Stu's concepts, Stu normally kind of comes up with the concepts and then sells them to me like that. And I'm like, because we've got the same taste. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. So he comes to me with basically these masks and these suits and kind of this image of these 3 killers sort of ready-made. No homeless. Oh, yeah, we had you came with the homeless cast as well, didn't you? So, you know, so it was like, it wasn't even a blag. It was the second he kind of went Santa's versus Homeless. I went, oh, dude, that's so John Carpenter. It's awesome. And then it just kind of was born from there. And Geo's kind of came in sort of a little bit later to our recipe, if you like. And then we managed to sell Geo. So it wasn't really even a blag. It was like we all just fell in love with the idea of the whole concept. I wouldn't say it was a marketing tool, really. That came later, like, oh, you could sell this every year and this, that, and the other. But initially it was, you know, I love Christmas horror as well, and I love Christmas movies too. Initially it was like, oh my God, I would watch that.
Yeah, it was love, not money. And no, they didn't need to really sell me on it. I didn't need convincing.
Yeah, exactly. It was a solid concept. Jop is also another thing we call Stu. Stu's concept is just always solid because he'll watch every movie in that shut up. He'll watch every movie in that sort of vein and live it for like a week before he even reveals the concept. And that's sort of where I kind of come in and start sort of taking over is sort of the development of that and the extrapolation of a story, if you like. And we all work on that together as well. And then that gets sort of fed through my kind of structural brain. That's what I've focused on in my like sort of writing, learning is like character development and structure. So sort of with Stu's kind of concepts and ideas that go through my lens, if you like, and then we end up having, that's how we develop our scripts. So
Stu is our lead writer. I mean, having three writers only works if one person takes the lead, one person makes a final decision and composes the whole script, and that's Stewie.
I mean, there's other ways for it to work, but that is how sort of we seem to work, is that the ideas come in there and then come out here. And that's how you control the chaos a little bit, I think.
Right.
Well, that's how we do.
Yeah. Try to.
Yeah. That's very sensible. I mean, I can understand how two people can sit in a room and just bat ideas, backwards and forwards between each other. So, okay, so you have Stu, you've come up with the ideas, and you're going to, this is now going through Stewie. Gio, you're also putting in ideas as well.
Yeah.
How long did the script writing process take?
2 weeks.
Not very long, because we were up against the clock.
I had a deadline of 2 weeks, basically, once we kind of nailed the concept down. Stu is a bit of a cruel taskmaster when it comes to stuff like that. So we'd be like,
well, we had a time limit though. We had a time limit on when we could go into the location and sort of shoot, and we were only allowed a certain amount of time. We had to be done by a certain time. So I was like, we need this script. It's gonna be a 2-weeker, and like that's all you can get. So we literally popped that on our calendar. It was 2 weeks later to have a script by the end of it, and
it helps when you have a deadline because you can work backwards. You go, we got to be out by this, which means we need at least this much to film, which means we need it by this, which means we need this by this. So you just work backwards, and you're like, oh, we need the script tomorrow. Oh dear.
I'm like, it can't be
not quite so bad, but it was pretty hectic.
And I like the hectic, to be honest.
Yeah.
It works in our favor.
It does, but I like to take my time.
And for those people who haven't actually seen the movie, it's an amazing, and I think it was one of the, you're so lucky with that location. So how did the location come about? You say you only had 2 weeks. So you've got the concept, and suddenly a location suddenly appears. How did that happen?
I mean, that... Go on, sorry.
Who's going, me or you? Go on, you go.
No, you go.
Okay, well, we met a girl called Emily Lewis, who's a production designer on Apocalypse, which was the script. That was the first script we sold, basically. That's also coming out soon. But we met the production designer on that. She lived in Southport, which is quite near us at the time. And, we had this concept, and the way we wanted to do it was find a location before we wrote the script so that we could kind of wrap the story around the location, because it can be expensive and sort of time consuming to find a location to fit a story that you've written. You start needing location managers and this, that, and the other. So the plan was to do it the exploitation way, the sort of classic 70s way of going, what have we got to hand? So we were putting feelers out everywhere really for a location. And there was a few we were looking at. We were looking at church. You know, we were looking at a bunch of places really. But then Emily turned around and said, "Oh, my dad's best mate's with this woman who owns a courthouse." And we were like, "Oh, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?" Kind of thinking, "Nah, we'd never get a courthouse." So she set up a meeting basically with Amanda Robertshaw, who owns a marketing agency that kind of operates out of the courthouse. They've kitted out a big load of the rooms into an office, but they kept a load of the original courthouse intact, if you like. So we walked in and we were like, "Oh my god, massive hall, courtroom and all this." And we had a meeting with her, and as I say, we only had a concept at this stage, and we kind of turned our charm on, if you like.
We did.
It's got to be done, man, you know. And then basically kind of sold her on this idea. She said, "Okay, give us a story, give us a script." We had another meeting and we quickly bashed together the concept proper, if you like, and sold her on it. And she was like, "Yep, go on then." And the interesting thing is she actually sponsored us £2,000 as well. So in effect, we got paid to shoot in there. Not paid, obviously, because it went into the budget. But yeah, we were really passionate about it. And, you know, this is our life, making movies. So she kind of bought into that. But she didn't really know what she was in store for, really. Because when we showed her the schedule, she was like, "What?" Thinking we'd be in and out in like a week max or something. And we, you know how the disruptive nature of filmmaking, it's insane. It takes over everything. So
people expected it to be a weekend job.
Yeah. But that's the story.
12-hour days, 18 days.
Okay, so 18 days shoot.
Yeah.
18 or 19, was it? It was
21 plus the reshoots, I think. 22.
Technically, 21 days in total, but that came a few months later.
Right. Okay, and so you got this. So they was when I looked at this and I thought, oh, they must have gone in before they did the refurbishment. But you're saying that they actually had already refurbished whilst you were filming?
No, that happened straight afterwards. That's why we needed to be out. It was like we need all the contractors to come in, blah blah blah. So this is the day you need to skedaddle. If you're not done by then, you can't. So the reshoots that we actually did were outside, not in the location, because the location was all spanky and new by then.
Right.
And wouldn't have looked the part.
No, because basically, because it looked like as if you had a whole load of files from the courthouse that would just be left lying around.
Data protection means we couldn't get them out and show you, but we can. The outside's fine. The box, if you like.
It was awesome, wasn't it? Because they were the colours that we discussed our film's sort of primary colours, red and green.
Yeah.
Colours. And when we walked in, I went, "Wow, we didn't even need to dress this room. That's ready to go." I was like, hostage room. That was what the location was called in the script. We were like, "This is the hostage room, 100%." And it just looks great.
Yeah.
You needed to get the blood out of the floor, though. That was quite difficult afterwards.
I don't think we got it out, to be honest with you.
No, we didn't. But they refurbished it, so it's okay.
What sort of blood did you use?
It's sugar-based. Sometimes with brains, some put bananas in there. And
the banana blood. The
banana blood was the one that got on the carpet in the courtroom. And we got trodden on the entire time. So when we got we got this thing, that hot water and soap and all that stuff, it was not coming out. I mean, we got a little out, but we then got in trouble with Amanda for having banana blood all over the courtroom.
We just left a little signature on the carpet. And
it's like we were here.
That's what it was. It was our stamp, a leftover stamp.
But
blood stamp.
Are you still friends? At the end of it?
Yes, we are actually. It was all. I think when she watched the movie, the finished actual product, and kind of was like, "Wow, I didn't know." To be honest with you, I didn't think it would look this good, and I didn't think it would be this good. You know, she obviously enjoyed it, and you know, she's seeing it being made, and she's seeing us sort of, you know, slight idiots running around, you know, in Santa costumes, murdering people and throwing blood everywhere. So I don't think she knew what to expect.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. I don't need. I think the minute that she saw it and was like, "Wow, I'm really proud of you guys for, you know, showing off our location as well." Because at the end of the day, it's their location. I think really sells this movie. It's a beautiful place, you know what I mean? And it just adds so much to the production value of this movie, I reckon. Really,
absolutely. No, it really absolutely does. And what time of year did you actually film?
It was end of August for the first weeks in September it was. So, you know, we were sort of putting on the Santa costumes and, you know, pre-Christmas and shooting this whole Christmas movie, and like everyone was, because Wake, obviously, you know, when we were in there, we've sort of gone to the shops and stuff in our costumes, and people are like,
there was a police station next door, and I was walking around in half a Santa costume with a fake machete and an axe and stuff. And I was just, and, you know, occasionally police used to walk by, like, hide it. I'm like, why am I hiding it? It's plastic.
I know, yeah. Really, towards the end of the shoot, they were just pretty much looking at us and going, "These lads need to get a fucking proper job."
Yeah.
Standing outside smoking cigarettes with a half mask over your face while you've got 2 minutes in between takes, like policemen coming out going, "Hi." Just like, "Hi," you know what I mean? It was kind of odd. It was very odd, but yeah. So it was like September time when we shot that.
Right. And I mean, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, is a question for Stewie particularly, was the fight choreography. That I thought the violence was very realistic. It was not stylized. You kind of feel every punch, blow, whatever. Who did your fight choreography?
Well, we actually had a sort of second unit director, who we met again on Apocalypse. We built with a lot of contacts from Apocalypse. He came down and basically kind of, you know, we sort of collaborated on the direction basically of these things. This guy's called Russell McLeod, and he's actually an equity stunt guy, but he's, you know, how we got him was he's looking to direct. So he came in and, you know, I called him up one day and I said, "Hey dude, how do you fancy working on my movie?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, great." And I was like, "Now I'm going to tell you straight away, we haven't got a lot of money." And he just laughed and went, "No one's got a lot of money." And I was like, you know, obviously we paid expenses and hotels and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so he just came down to add stuff to his portfolio and his show reel. So as I say, we collaborated quite nicely. He's a really, really, really sound guy. He knows his stuff. He's been on some huge movies like The Mummy, Harry Potter,
Game of Thrones, wasn't he?
Thrones, yeah. I mean, this guy is serious business as a stunt performer. So we were really lucky. Again, it was about sort of turning on the charm. I always said, like, I used to sell phones, and I always said I'm a rubbish salesman. But I think when it comes to something I'm really passionate about, me and Stu both, and Gio as well, but Gio's really good at the sort of corporate sort of business side of things, whereas me and Stu are really good at selling artists.
Not completely passionless, but yeah, much less.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just like a robot.
It's a recipe, isn't it? You know, because we will go to a corporate person and be like, "Oh, hey dude, how's it going? I'm just going for a ciggy," and they'll be like, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah, well, you need for that. You need both those sides, don't you? That's the thing.
So that's how we got. That's how we got some sort of crucial.
We had Lee Grundy as well doing basically a lot of the stunts where we didn't want our actors to get hurt and we needed to choreograph them, but we couldn't have Liam or me at the time on there because we were getting prepped. So we had somebody.
No one knows who these people are.
No, it's we had somebody else who you won't know and hasn't been in anything coming in and doing a lot of the stunts for us. So we didn't have any downtime either in between shoots
because the schedule the way it was, sometimes we couldn't get X, Y, you know, with X Santa, Y Santa. Sometimes it was like, "Oh, we can't get Liam today." So a few times in the movies, the Santas are actually different people altogether, but it's that thing of like the Top Gear thing of the Stig. You know, it could be anyone, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, it does matter for the crucial dramatic scenes, but for the things like the choreography and stuff like that. So actually, sometimes I'm not going to tell you where you're not looking at the main performers, but that's a standard.
Yeah,
that's a standard.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, because I remember watching Nightbreed and watching the character of Kinski, which I played, and thinking, I didn't film that. That's I was not there. And that's because basically there were flames around. They don't put actors and flames together. They put stuntmen and flames together. Yeah.
Flames in general, I've always been like, oh, I want to call for some flames, man, but you're talking cheap flames, aren't you?
It's flames, man. That's just all dangerous there, man. It's just like it's just gonna go wrong. It's too much. But yeah, that's it. So there was like 6 different people playing, I think, the Santas in, you know, throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, 6.
I think it was, yeah. But yeah, it was fun.
But in some scenes, well, in 1 second, is one different Larry. You can't tell. Even I can't tell. But like, for 1 second, it was somebody else.
Right. Okay, and so, Gio, we're having a little trouble with your sound, and this sounds weird, but I think it may be because your sound was great at the beginning, but you're getting quite crackly. Could you lean back slightly? And I'm just try talking to me now. Just tell me.
Is that better?
No, I don't know what. Some things changed. I'm wondering if a plug's come loose or something. It's slightly got a little bit more crackly than it was. I did want to talk to you. I do want to ask you some questions. Before we do that, though, I have a question coming from Steve Zarebski. Hi, Steve. We're talking about the stunts and the stunt performance. For all 3 of you, what is your favorite kill in Good Tidings? And which ones did you have the most fun doing effects for?
I personally like... It's actually a kill that I do myself.
Are you going to rob mine that I was going to pick?
It's my kill. I'm sorry. I'm taking it. No.
Which one is it?
It's the candy cane to the eye.
Ah, you bastard.
That's my favorite. I'm sorry for stealing it, but that's my favorite. Is the candy cane to the eye. I think using the candy cane as a weapon was such a cool thing, and I love doing it. And I think once I saw it on the screen, I was like, yeah, that works so well. That is my favorite, definitely.
And this is obviously Stuart's as well.
I mean, that's I've got another favorite though. That is my favorite because it's the first kill, and it was really difficult to orchestrate that single take. So it's probably my favorite because of the accomplishment factor of it. You know, it's obviously orchestrated, so we're just catching a little glimpse of Curly and all this, and then it's all done in 1 take. So I do love that about that kill, and I loved Stu's performance with his little laugh, and it's a nasty kill. I think my other favorite kill is Larry when he kills. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but Larry kills a certain character in the movie, and then basically a couple of the characters come up to the courtroom, and there's been bodies sort of laying about the place by Larry, and he's not there, and they're looking for something, and he sort of steps out and puts Silent Night on the gramophone, and then it cuts out to a big massive wide. And I remember shooting this, people were going, don't we need more coverage? I was like, nope. And they were like, well, you know, this, that, and the other. And I was like, I've got this idea and it's going to work. And it's just we shot in 4K as well. So I had a lot of push in and push out, I think 60%. So we start in and it just kind of slowly tracks back, revealing me and Stu, who are holding a cracker, posed dead. And it's just a really long, and I think it's, almost like the soundtrack cuts out and it's just got Silent Night playing over it. And he sort of deliberates whether to let them go, and they go, please let us go. And then he sort of gestures for them to go and they leave. And then just this sort of Silent Night's ending, he kind of follows them down and you hear a scream. And it just takes it's one of those things where you know what's going to happen. but it just worked so well.
The drawn outness.
And it's the stylized sort of nature of it, and there was a lot of subtext for the character because, you know, we played Silent Night, and Larry it's almost like Larry, with it being such a psychopath, is sort of almost at peace in this setting. And I think that's my favorite. That's my other favorite kill. Obviously, because, well, you'll know, Nick, but I haven't seen it. What kind of happens next?
Yeah. And it's interesting you were talking about the shooting on 4K. What camera did you use?
We used the Blackmagic cinema camera, which is awesome in my opinion. I've been on some shoots. I work in TV as a freelancer as well, sort of for bread and butter money, if you like. And it gets kind of poo-pooed a lot because they're like, hey, this is not a very good camera. But I'm like, yeah, but dude, you know, it's allowing artists to get their work out there on a high enough standard to be sort of taken seriously. You know, they shot a lot of stuff on Mad Max Fury Road with this same camera, just because it's so cheap. It's about $2,000 for the body, and they just strapped it to cars and hammered the cars and smashed the cameras, took the memory cards out, and went, sweet, we'll get another one. So it's a great camera, and it's the camera that our DOP Shane owns. He brought a lot of his kit into the mix. Yeah, so if anyone's out there looking to buy a camera and make a movie, and you've got a couple of grand spare, that's the one I go for.
Okay.
We weren't paid to say that, by the way.
Sorry, say again, Gio?
We weren't paid to say that. We just believe it.
Give me my check.
He's sponsored by them.
Okay. Gio, I want to come back. You talked about thanking people earlier on. Who was it in particular you wanted to thank?
I can't say anybody in particular because then I feel like I left somebody out. But we made a lot of contacts throughout the film. By the way, am I coming through? Okay.
This for some reason it's suddenly become crackly, and I don't think there's anything we can do. Possibly move your microphone slightly closer towards you. Let's try that.
Well, basically, we made a lot of contacts throughout the film. We had Andy Savage on special effects. Anita came on to do our wardrobe. We had with Jessica on makeup. I mean, we didn't know anybody really. We knew very few people, and all the people basically, when we first met them, just bought into the idea that we could do this together. So it was very good to actually have somebody and to have a team of people who believe in you, as opposed to, you know, needing upfront payments and things like that. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who was involved in it, because it's their film as much as ours, really.
Right. And you talked about raising finance for it.
Yeah.
And so on. How much, this is kind of a difficult question to answer. How long do you think, or do you hope, or do you plan that you may be able to actually see some return on the investment? You mean
an actual, well, I mean, we'll see money in the first quarter of 2017, but how much and how quickly we're gonna break even, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, we're having a really good return on people who have seen it and have said, oh, you know what, I like it, I really do. Because I've seen it that many times, from its inception to when we first had the first sales, that I'm now looking at it. I'm not looking at it. I've seen it that often that I'm immune to it. You know what I mean? It's like watching a film. Try watching a film 300 times, and then you go, like, how do you feel? If you want to watch it again, you're like, well, do I have to?
Yeah. So, almost becoming a chore.
Yeah, I still like it though. I go to cinemas and to small screenings, and people watch it for the first time, and I still like it. But I don't know as much as I would if I watched it for the first time when it's completed.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bubble with it, really. Basically, as you're making it, you start, like Gio said, you get immune to it. So you're almost like, is this shit? Is it good? I just don't know. You know, it's only when you pop that creative bubble, I think, that you actually realize what you've got on your hands. Why it's so scary, almost being any kind of creative person, because and unleashing it on the public, because you could love it and the audience goes, what a pile of shit. Or you could, you know, I'm quite like sort of typically insecure about my work, which is why having Stu is good, because Stu is kind of a shut up, just put it out there, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's only kind of getting it out there that lets you know what you've got on your hands, really.
So
Right.
I do want the public's opinion. I reckon it's important to us, even if they didn't like it, just go, oh, this was bad, because then we can go, all right, okay, you didn't like that. Or you did like that, I didn't think you would, but there you go. So it's good to know. It's definitely good to know. I mean, constructive, you know. We've had some comments which have been not constructive at all.
Is that just through social media you're getting that kind of comment, or reviewers, or?
No, to be honest, we've not had a bad review yet.
No, I'm talking like YouTube comments and things like that.
Good old YouTube comments.
Yeah. No,
someone said, this is the death of film. I was like, fucking hell.
We've killed film. Yeah, killed film in our movie. That's like,
that's a compliment.
Achievement,
really.
Yeah, it's an achievement.
And it means nothing. It literally means absolutely nothing.
It's like, if you didn't like it, then tell me. But you know, that's not useful. That's not going to improve us and make the next thing better.
The trolls live on YouTube, basically. You know, not to insult your audience or anything like that.
To be honest, it's very seldom that I've been trolled. We're really lucky, and it's very seldom. Generally, people understand I'm a very positive person. I believe encouraging the constructive criticism, showing people how a little trick that might help something be better or more effective. Yeah, that's useful. I'm interested in that. So, one of our previous guests, Ryan M. Andrews, said, listen, I'm not interested in the top, your worst films, the films you've hated. I'm really only interested in the ones you love. I want to know, I want to know about the enthusiasm. Those are the things.
Yeah, of course. Of course, but the internet comes with that, doesn't it? And I expect, I kind of, I don't know. It's an extra part of the filmmaking process, and I like to see all this. I like to see what people really think. I'm like, just bring it. It's cool, man. It's cool. We've made this movie, so whatever anyone thinks about it, it's cool, because at the end of the day, if they think it's crap and they've watched it, they still watched it, so that was nice of them, And I'll always go, thank you very much. That's fine. If you hated it, you hated it, but you watched it, so thank you very much. And we'll have done. You probably won't want to come back.
People love drama, and drama sells, so you're never going to get away from it.
Well, I mean, I learned a long time ago that you have to just take that. You're not going to be able to get away from that. Like, my first writing job was on a website, and the first 5 or 6 articles, this one guy followed me on every article and literally posted a comment like that long about how shit I was and all this stuff. And I was just the first time it happened, I literally just like, I went to bed. Being a bit of a lovey.
Like, nothing against lovers.
Yeah, no, of course, but like, you just got to harden to that really over time, because you're just not going to get away from it. The real important thing really is that the sort of critics are really digging it. We were in this month's Starburst magazine. We had a 5-page spread, and a 9 out of 10 review, which is just incredible to see. This magazine that's older than I am, giving us time of day at all, let alone sort of promoting us in the Independence Day section as like, these guys are people to watch. So, while we've had a few comments here and there, we've had really good reviews and a lot of, good reviews on the sites that it's selling on as well, which it's getting to its audience, and its audience are enjoying it. And that's the main thing that you want to hear as a filmmaker. Whether it's making money or not, that's awesome if it is, but really, we want it to find its audience. We want people to see it and enjoy it. That's why we make it,
Right. And sorry, just to come back to this random question again, I just don't think I established properly. You said it took 18 days. Was that 18 days this year that you filmed?
2015. It was filmed in 2015. So we probably could have maybe had it out No, I don't even think even if we knew what we were doing like we do now, we would have been able to have it out that Christmas. I think that's too quick.
We had some issues with our grading, really, to cut to it. You know, once it was edited and it was cut, we had a guy who was basically like, yeah, I'll grade it, it'll be sweet. Worked at a post house, kind of a big post house. I won't name names, but he was like, yeah, I'll do it on the cheap. And I kind of did a job for them at the time as well. And I was there, and he just strung us along, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting to the point where we just went, you know, I'm going to go and Shane's going to do it. And we should have done that in the first place in hindsight, because that put another 2 or 3 months on top of the post schedule.
So when did it actually get finished? When did you actually have the finished product?
Wow, that was like, that was literally August 2016. I think was literally when we had a completely finished.
I mean, if you count the MME, it's not yet finished. I suppose. If you're talking about every deliverable for the film, then I suppose it's not yet finished. But it is finished enough for North American distribution. You guys speak English, so there's no dubbing required.
Right.
I mean, when I obviously wanted to into festivals and try and get it in the festival circuit, and hopefully get it into the festival circuit, we had not really had a completed version of the movie, and we were so, you know what it's like with the festivals, you know, you've got your deadlines coming really fast, and the more you leave it for the festivals, the more it costs money. So we just literally, I went, let's just send them the maybe second or third from finished cut, and hope to God that it's good enough and they like it, and it's not finished. So yeah, it actually got picked up for a few official selections without it being fully finished.
On that copy, we won our first best picture on that unfinished copy.
Yeah, no, we hadn't. So that was
it needed
kind of good.
it needed lots of little things, and it didn't have it.
Right.
The copy that's out is good. It's good to go. It's completely finished.
Right. And what's happening with that? So it's still doing. You've got VOD in North America. Where are you now with Europe, for example?
Well, we need a music and effects track, which costs, last estimate, more money than what we've got is really the bottom line. So we're kind of debating how to go about this. I'm trying to get a hold of the sales agents, because I want to see if we do need it, if we can get around it. If we can't get around it, then we just need to find a way of making it ourselves. But that's a whole lot of other problems. So it's the independent route. This is not the easy route. This is the independent route. This is we'll do it ourselves.
We don't have a lot of money left. We've got, I think, what was it, Gio? We've got £60 in the business account.
We don't have money left. It's just not money. We can't even spend it. So it's basically like
we the sponge down to its
to get it out.
And so this is a sort of, it's as you say, all these expenditures just come out of the woodwork, and you go like, what the fuck is that? You know, insurance. I've never heard of that in my life, and all this stuff. So with the European distributor, he's turned around and said, this is what we need, and we have everything on the list except this one thing that costs a few thousand, and we're just like, ugh, give us a break.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this is everything. This was our one shot, really, at going the official distribution route. Like, we were originally going to go through Vimeo and self-release, but luckily the first trailers and stuff like that caught the attention of some sales agents who, and it's going back to what you said about like sort of having the unfinished cut. Like, we just got this out for Christmas in America, just by the skin of our teeth.
And I have to admit, if it wasn't for the sales agents guiding us through it, we wouldn't have been able to do it. It would have taken us a year to do it by ourselves.
Oh yeah, wouldn't have got that out for Christmas, I don't reckon. No chance.
In fact,
just when you know. They
just
send you lists. You know, your deliverables list is probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. You know, when they say this is what you need to deliver to us to get it to these VOD sites.
It's like something's really difficult. Yeah, sorry.
You're looking at like huge words with numbers and letters that you've never seen, because unless you're an industry professional at that exact thing of post-production, you just haven't got a clue what it is.
And you've got to remember, we're idiots. We're like 3 idiots.
Yeah, that
who went.
Very true.
So we see this list and go, "Wow, that looks like."
Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is.
No,
it's kind of true though. You know, it is kind of true. You know, it's not like we know what.
Yeah, when it comes to like deliverables list, where it looks like somebody's just taking really difficult to understand words and just vomited them out on a PDF, and it's like, "Give me this DCP 1080 444 file," and I'm like, I go up to Shane and I'm like, "Shane, I need this translated into English," and he looks at me and goes, "I have no idea what that is." It's at that point that you're like, we're in trouble because if Shane doesn't know, I don't know, Stu, you don't know. The hell's going on?
The most talented person we have doesn't know when we're up shit creek. What do we do? But I mean, yeah, that's it. You know, you learn so much from selling your first movie. You know, what we've learned over the past 3 months is probably, you know, so detrimental to any first-time filmmaker. You know, of getting it right and not going with the first deal or going with the first person, or understanding what actually is needed from you is huge. It's so big, and when you don't know, it's so daunting.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it was so, you know, we were lucky to have our sales agents who sort of kind of guided Giovanni through every step that we kind of needed to do, and who we needed to speak to, where the movie needed to go.
Sometimes I just needed holding. You know, it's just.
He needed a hug. There was lots of hugs he needed many times through that process, I think.
You know, it's no. So sorry, I thought you'd finished.
No, go on, go.
It's no sort of new thing. I don't think that we went through. You know, I remember watching an interview with George A. Romero, who said, "Yeah, we got screwed on Night of the Living Dead, totally screwed, and we did not make the same mistakes on Dawn of the Dead." You know, so he classically went through the same stuff that we're going through. He was a bit of a sort of punk rock filmmaker who went, "I'm just going to make a film," did it, got screwed over. Second time, you know, nailed it. So hopefully,
the thing is, it might come to light that we've made mistakes. Well, I'm still waiting for the penny to drop in some cases. I want to see how this plays out and how this plays out, and how I'm going to do this in the future, like the M&E track, or what return we're going to get from this particular deal that we agreed to. So there's a lot of stuff that we're still just kind of waiting to see, learning from. And we can have this conversation again in a year, and I'll say, we totally got screwed.
Yeah,
and this is what happened. But we don't know now. We don't know. We just hope for the
waiting game.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we're almost at the end of our time now. So what are you, for you guys, what are the, you know, apart from getting through the European distribution hurdle, what's your next project? What are you working on now? What else is happening?
Well, it's again, you know, once you've got your first feature, it's really tough to get your second one going. You know, we've got loads of ideas, but settling down on something and actually going, okay, this is what we can push forward on is tough with your second feature. But I think we're going to tackle a short. I think for you know, maybe the first quarter of 2017. I think going to tackle a supernatural kind of short, do something a little bit different than what we've done before, and then build up to our second feature, which hopefully we can get going next year. Hopefully. But nothing's fully set, 100% in concrete yet. We've got a few ideas that we're toying with, aren't we? And, you know,
we've got a few interesting ideas, really. Different styles. We've got a sort of, you know, again, we found a really nice manor house type thing. Well, I wouldn't say manor house, but a huge house in Southport, which kind of fits a story that we've been developing for a little while. Sort of devil worship. Kind of, it's almost like a Misery meets House of the Devil type film. You know, we've got a meeting. We're in with a company called the BID in Southport, so we've got a potential meeting with the guy who owns Southport Fair, which, you know, if we could get that, shoot a movie in a fairground.
Locations, isn't it? If we can get all the locations for us, I reckon it's a big, and, you know, if we can get an awesome location.
We've got those those two ideas, and then we've got the other idea about the criminal investigation. The other one. Now I'll let you describe it. But basically, it's going to come down to how much money we've got. It's going to come down to what capital we've got to spend. And I hate being so pragmatic about it, but like the manner film and the film in the park in that place, those are going to cost. Those are going to have some basic costs to them, where we just can't get away from, and that's going to be the limiting factor. When it comes down to it, it's about the limiting factor. Can we overcome this and still do this film properly and give it the go and give it the everything it needs to be a good film? Because then if we have to cut so many corners, what's the point? You might as well wait for next year, or just not do it until you do have the money. So really, it's down to see how much money we make from this film, and if we can sell it in Europe, then we get an MG, which means we'll have something to use.
Right. Okay, so final question for all of you. What do you think is the best piece of advice you could give to a filmmaker who's wanting to make their first feature film?
Well, I would say you gotta plan everything, and you gotta speak to somebody who's done it before if you can, and just get an idea of what you're in for, because it's not just getting a hard drive full of footage and then editing it together, because that's like 10% of it, and then you've got all these other things that just people just throw at you. And yeah, just plan it and know what you're in for. But don't not do it. That's the thing. Don't just go, oh no, oh dear, oh god, no, I don't think so. I'll just go to my office job instead. Don't have too much of a rosy optimism as well.
Okay.
Like I suppose we did to an extent. We did have rosy optimism.
Okay.
What would you guys think?
Okay, Stu.
Oh, sorry, go on, Stu.
I mean, I just say, I reckon if you've got an idea, get some people together and just try your best. Do what you've got, grab what you've got, grab what you can get, and just go for it, I reckon. At the end of the day, it's all art, and most of the stuff that I see produced, whether it's got no money, whether it's got loads of money, it's all just awesome to see people doing this kind of stuff. So I'd say grab a whole bunch of friends and do your best. Try and get a film out, short, whatever you want, just give it a go, because you only get one life at the end of the day.
Right. Right. Yes, absolutely.
Start small. You can do shorts.
Yes, I would say, I've been asked this a few times. Just do it. Just literally do it. There's a million reasons why you will tell yourself you shouldn't do it, because I've got to pay my bills. And I've heard people say, but I've got to pay my bills, man. Or what if I fail? Or what if I'm just like, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Literally, you just got to do it. And unfortunately, if you want to do it, you're going to have to prioritize it, because it takes over your life. But if that's the calling that you've got, you've kind of got a responsibility to yourself to do it. And that's what we did. I left the workforce. She was actually my boss in CEX. I left the workforce, and I've spent 10 years on the bread line learning the craft. That's what you've got to do, And that's the second piece of advice: learn the craft. Don't just pick up a camera and think that because you're going to be able to make a dead good movie, because it is a craft and it is an art form, and you have to dedicate the time in the background, reading, watching, analyzing. But do it is the main thing. You have to take that step and step off the plank, if you like, because if you don't, you're just literally if you don't do it, you'll never do it. And now is the time.
Yeah. Yes. I think absolutely. I think the real thing now is the time is the best, because if not now, when?
If it's not
absolutely
now, it's never going to be.
Yeah, gentlemen, this has been very, very interesting. Apologies, we have had some sound issues that we can do about. That's Giovanni. This stuff happens, and I'm sure people understand. I'll clean it up as best I can in the podcast, but just wanted to say thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Listen, before I sign off and we'll say goodbye properly at the end. Just wanted to remind everyone, I will be back on the 8th of January. I'm going to be talking with a lady called Anaïs Bertrand from Paris. I met Anaïs earlier this year when I was in the south of France at Corsica. She's produced some wonderful short films and they're just moving into she's from Insolence Productions, and very different take on making films in Europe than it is to making them in the UK. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's watched, tweeted, liked, shared, and subscribed in 2016. Obviously the last show of the year. I really am deeply grateful to everybody who supports the show. You really are incredibly important to me. So I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And please say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, thanks, folks.
Goodbye, gentlemen.